All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into the world of Manuel R. Lavado's historical adventure, Piratas de Borneo. That's Pirates of Borneo, and this is a really gripping tale, set right at the very end of the 18th century Spanish Empire, deep in the wild and contested waters of the Pacific. You know, this quote just perfectly sets the stage. This is not some simple story about swashbuckling pirates. No, it's a deep look at a fading empire, where, as the book puts it, the line between total triumph and absolute disaster is razor thin. Every single voyage could make you a legend, or it could be your last.
So let's meet our protagonist, Captain Javier Periáñez. Now, you might expect his story to kick off with some great heroic victory, right? Well, his journey starts with the exact opposite, a catastrophic, career-ending failure.
I mean, just listen to this ordeal. In 1791, his ship, the frigate Serena, goes down in the freezing waters off Alaska. He's the only one who survives. He then spends an entire year living with a local indigenous tribe before he's finally rescued. But his return home isn't some big celebration. Oh no, it's a trial. He's hauled into Acapulco to face a court-martial, with his entire career and his honor just hanging by a thread.
So he is eventually cleared of the charges. But the man who walks out of that courtroom is completely changed. He's haunted, by the loss of his crew. And his personal life is a mess. He's got a distant wife and a mixed-race son, Marcelo, who he barely even knows. And it's right at this rock-bottom moment that he's handed a new mission, one that sounds completely and utterly impossible.
He gets sent to the Philippines, but this new assignment, it isn't just a straightforward military job. He very quickly realizes he's fighting a war on two completely different and equally dangerous fronts.
Okay, so on the one hand, you've got the enemy you can see, these ruthless pirates who are just tearing up the coast, taking captives, and destroying trade. That's the external threat. But then there's this other, sneakier threat. Periáñez starts to figure out that the enemy inside his own administration might be the one that's actually going to sink him for good. And you will not believe how deep this rot goes. The money that's supposed to be for defense, it's being stolen. Spanish military weapons are being sold, get this, directly to the pirates they're supposed to be fighting. You've got officials actively trying to make his mission fail. And to top it all off, there's a mole, a traitor at the highest level, codenamed Andres, who's leaking secrets and sabotaging the whole thing from the inside out. It's just insane. So Periáñez's answer to all this chaos is something called the Marina Sutil, the subtle navy. And this is just a brilliant move. It's not a big, clunky fleet of warships. No, it's a nimble, fast flotilla of small gunboats, perfect for chasing pirates into the shallow mangrove swamps where they hide out. It's way more than just a tactic. It's a symbol of adapting, of innovating in the face of a rigid, decaying system that just doesn't work anymore.
So that's the what of the story. But what really makes this novel so good is the how. The author, Manuel R. Lavado, has this incredible narrative style that just completely flips the script on your typical adventure story. Let's break down his recipe. First up, the narrator. This narrator knows everything, but they're not just telling you what happens, they're actively critiquing the whole imperial mindset with this sharp, ironic wit. Second, he drops in these fictional documents, letters, diaries, official reports that make the whole world feel incredibly authentic. And third, he doesn't glorify anyone. This is a raw, critical look at the messy, complicated truth of the past. No simple heroes here. And the effect of this is so cool. The narrator gives you all the facts, for sure, but their critical, almost sarcastic perspective forces you, the reader, to question everything. You're not just a passenger on an adventure ride. You're invited to be a detective, to judge all the actions and motivations for yourself. Now, running right alongside all this epic military and political drama is the human story. And this is really where the heart of the novel is. It's a story about personal honor, about broken families, and about that desperate search for some kind of redemption. And at the core of this human drama is this amazing conflict between two brilliant leaders. On one side, you have Periáñez. He's the ultimate insider,
right? He's loyal to a system he knows is broken, but he really hopes he can fix it from the inside. And then you have his main rival, Nordin Sanchez. He's this charismatic renegade who is a product of this mixed colonial world, a man who was pushed aside by the system and is now fighting to tear it down. They're really like two sides of the same coin, which makes their struggles so much more interesting than just good versus evil.
And all the while, Periáñez is just wrestling with his own past. He is weighed down by so much. You've got this immense guilt over the family he basically abandoned. You have his lonely, desperate quest for honor in a world that seems to only reward betrayal. And maybe most importantly, you have his complicated, evolving relationship with his son Marcelo, which really digs into that huge colonial theme of mestizaje, or mixed-race identity. So after all of this, the battles, the corruption, the intrigue, how does it all end? Does our hero finally get that glorious victory he's been fighting for? Well, as you can probably guess by now, the ending is a lot more complicated and a lot more realistic than that. The final campaign is almost like a balance sheet, with wins on one side and costs on the other. So in the victory column, yeah, major pirate strongholds are taken out. Hundreds of captives are freed. Stolen treasure is recovered. But then, you look at the cost column. The overall pirate threat? It's still there. That deep, systemic corruption, totally untouched. And our hero, Periáñez, he gets dismissed from his command, a victim of the very same political games he was trying to fight against.
So after all that, what's his real legacy? When you boil it all down, it really just comes down to one thing. One practical, lasting achievement that lived on long after the battles and the backstabbing. The Marina Sutil. He didn't fix the whole broken system, but he made one single part of it better.
And that leaves us with this final, powerful question. Pirates of Borneo is so much more than a history lesson or an adventure. It's a really deep reflection on what it even means to succeed in a world that's fundamentally flawed. It makes us ask, when glory fades and systems are corrupt, what is a hero's true legacy? Is it the big, splashy victory everyone cheers for? Or is it the quiet, meaningful change that almost no one will ever thank you for? It's a question that was just as relevant in the 18th century as it is for us today.